exist, you're no longer in my
New year, same problems. Welcome to AfterMat, your source for WWE pay-per-view recaps. I am your host, the People's Champ Cal, and alongside me as always, I have the entire stable actually. My tag team partner Jaleisha, our man, what do you call him, the man in the Raptors, Joe, and our, I guess, valet at the moment, Rose. How are you guys doing? Happy New Year to you.
Oh, someone had to show her face before she went to bed for the night.
Yes, how are you, Joe? How are you doing?
Good.
I don't know if Jaleisha told you, but I have a bone to pick with you guys and certain dates of certain things, but we'll get to that at the at the end of the show. But I wish you the best, Joe. I hope you're doing well as well. So I'm glad to see you guys both happy and healthy in the new year here on AfterMat again.
All right, say good night, Rose. Good night.
And also we are joined by a longtime stablemate coming back, rising from the ashes, the Firefox himself. What's going on, Will?
Hello. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, I know this is like your favorite. You're always chock full of stats and chock full of numbers, and our Royal Rumble statistician that gives Joe a run for his money with all these facts. So welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. As for the people in the chat, we also have Sidewalk. How are you doing, Sidewalk? And we have Entertain. Welcome back. Happy New Year to you guys. Hope you guys are doing well. So as you guys know, we're talking about the Royal Rumble 2023, the first pay-per-view of this year, or I guess Premium 11. I'm still gonna be saying pay-per-view because I'm so used to that. But we're gonna go with a guest first, like without giving away your overall grade and all that. Like, Will, what did you think of the pay-per-view overall? Because I know it's your favorite. Did it disappoint you? Did it hit all your expectations, or was it even better than your expectations?
It was definitely better than my expectations, better than last year's, and I have my spreadsheets ready with all my stats.
Delisha, what about you? What did you think about it?
Yeah, I think for his namesake, I think it hit all the beats that it needed to hit. Although I think some people might disagree otherwise, but I had a good time. The Royal Rumble is my favorite pay-per-view. Oh dear, can y'all hear her in the background?
No.
Nope.
Oh, okay, because she is screaming her head off because she doesn't want to go to bed. But yeah, well, this and WrestleMania, they're like 1A and 1B of like my favorite pay-per-views. Then again, they're probably everyone's like favorite, I believe, at this point. But I think it was a good time. It went on a little too long, for me, but I stayed up and watched it, and my body regretted it the next day because I had to get up early because of Rose. But all around, good time.
Well, for me, see, it was like I feel like it's the complete opposite. I don't think it went long enough because the way we drew straws and all that, I had to cover a match. My match lasted 5 minutes, maybe even like 4 minutes, because like all of it was entrances. So like my match had like 3 moves in it, like total. So I mean, it makes my job easier, but like the match, I was like excited for one match this entire pay per view, and that match happened to be like 5 minutes long. So like maybe they could have made it longer for my sake, so I could have something to talk about more, or actually have more excitement in my match. But yeah. Other than that,
I
too,
mean,
like
you did say overall. I do have my gripes, but I was like, you said overall.
okay, yeah. Well, yeah. For me, overall, I'm gonna be one of those people that say that it wasn't that great of a pay per view. And you said some people have their gripes, and you know what? I'm the one who matters in the world. So my opinion is what's going on this show. That no one liked the pay per view. It was awful. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that. But yeah, it is kicking. As Alicia mentioned, her two favorite pay per views are this and the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, and these are the two bookends, right? So this is the start to the road to WrestleMania. Will it be a bumpy road? We shall see. As we know, backstage, so we don't really talk about the stuff that's happening backstage, but there are some changes, maybe not some changes. things are in limbo at the moment. So we'll see how that affects the road to WrestleMania, either positively, negatively, or maybe no change at all. I guess we'll see. But we're gonna go ahead and start off right away. Much like the year that we went to the Royal Rumble, a Royal Rumble match actually started the match. I think it was the men's Royal Rumble, right? It was men's, right? The men's that started.
The men's Rumble.
And I believe Will is covering that. So go ahead, Will.
I will be covering that, and just to generally start it, the match started with Gunther and Sheamus, and we got a clash. I remember thinking, oh, we got a Clash of the Castle rematch here at the start of the Rumble, and that's gonna be great. Great, and both men performed well in this Rumble overall. I'm not gonna go into every entrant because that could take forever. I'm gonna talk about. I wrote some highlights down here for myself. So at the start that we have there several men will come in before we get another rookie to join in. Our seventh entrance was our second rookie of the Royal Rumble for the night, and that was Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross didn't have the best performance. Came in number 7, got out by number 9, was eliminated by Drew McIntyre. And by the time our third rookie comes in at number 10, Santos Escobar, there's actually only 2 eliminations. The ring is actually full of people, which I personally love when Rumbles are like that. But by the time we got to entrance 11, who was Angelo Dawkins, the reason I mention that is because at this point, Xavier Woods is tossed out by Gunther. And then about approximately 15 to 20 seconds later, Kofi Kingston is tossed out by Gunther. Kofi lands on a chair, on one of the chairs that the commentators sit on, and I think he was supposed to save himself, and he made a mistake, and his feet ended up hitting the floor. But then the buzzer goes off, and we get entrance 12, and I think my favorite line from the commentary team for this entire Rumble comes out because Pat McAfee says, Kofi, Brock Lesnar coming to the ring, you're eliminated for the next 20 minutes, whether you're not eliminated or not. And I found it entertaining. Brock Lesnar comes in, he tosses bodies. He tosses out Chad Gable, he tosses out Santos Escobar, he tosses out Angelo Dawkins. And then we get a face-off between Lesnar versus Gunther as the next entrant is coming in. And entrant 13 is Bobby Lashley. Lashley comes in, goes right after Lesnar with a spear. I think he spears McIntyre, and then Lesnar gets back up, attempts to F5 Lashley, but Lashley escapes and ends up clotheslining Brock Lesnar over the top rope, and Brock Lesnar's pissed. We see him throw the cover of the announce table into the ring. It goes all the way across to the other side. Luckily, it didn't hit anybody. Then he takes the steel steps and smashes it on top of the announce table. Entrant 14 coming in, Baron Corbin's coming to the ring. Brock Lesnar clotheslines him down and then F5s him before he can get in. And then as Brock Lesnar is being escorted out to the back by the referees and all the officials, Adam Pearce and everybody, Brock Lesnar just takes the referee, tosses him into the crowd. Like the referee was nothing, and heads to the back. Now halfway into the field, Seth frickin' Rollins is coming in, and he tosses Corbin in, super kicks Corbin, and gets Corbin out. Corbin lasts approximately 7 seconds in the Rumble. I don't have my stat sheets up right now. Now I can get that if anyone in the comments wants to know later on. But the Royal Rumble continues filling in, and we get to the 17th entrant, and 17 was Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio doesn't show up. So no Rey Mysterio enters. And then by the time the buzzer rings for entrant 18, we see Dominic Mysterio come out with his father's mask. So it's presumed that Dominic attacked his father in the back and took him out of the Rumble because Rey Mysterio never comes to the ring. And there's some stuff that we were talking about in DMs that we feel should have happened, that I wish happened, but Dominic Mysterio comes in, and the match continues on, and by the time we get to entrant 21, we get Booker T coming in. Booker T got that invite to the Rumble, people. Booker T comes in, he does his moves with attacking mainly Judgment Day. He only really hit Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio. Does his spin and Rooney, and then Gunther picks him up and tosses Booker out. Booker lasted about approximately 40 seconds. And then Damian Priest comes in next, and we now have all 3 members of Judgment Day in the ring. And by the time entrant 24 comes out, we have the Rated R Superstar making his return in the Royal Rumble for the 3rd time in 4 years. if you think about it, with Edge coming out. Edge comes in, he goes all over Judgment Day. He eliminates Finn Balor, he eliminates Damian Priest, and he's attempting to eliminate Dominic Mysterio, but Finn Balor and Damian Priest get up and pull Edge out of the ring, eliminating him. Edge, Damian Priest, and Finn Balor all go up the ramp fighting at entrance 25. Austin Theory's coming out. And by the time they get to the top of the ring, Edge has taken Finn Balor and Damian Priest down, but Rhea Ripley comes out from the back and attacks Edge and takes him down. As Edge is down and you see Rhea Ripley staring him down, coming out from behind her from the backstage area, Beth Phoenix makes her return, and Beth Phoenix spears Rhea Ripley at the entranceway. By the time we get to entrance 29, entrance 29 is the return of Logan Paul. And I believe most of the fans were actually booing him. I personally am a fan of Logan Paul, and I actually enjoyed that he was in it. He immediately comes in, he gets at it with Ricochet, Braun Strowman. Well, actually, he gets attacked by the entire ring first. Then he gets at it with Ricochet and Gunther and Braun Strowman. And then we get the buzzer for the final entrant, and everyone knows it's the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Coming in at number 30, making his triumphant return from injury from that torn pectoral muscle. He comes in, he immediately pretty much tosses out Dominic Mysterio. And then, later, a couple minutes afterwards, you see Logan Paul on one side of the ring. You see Ricochet on the other side of the ring. They both do a springboard and collide midway with like a double crossbody / clothesline combination. It was outstanding. It looked great. But this would actually lead to the eliminations of Ricochet and Braun Strowman, because Cody attempts to eliminate Ricochet. Strowman comes in for the save. Rhodes throws out Strowman, and then Theory would end up eliminating Ricochet. We're now down to Austin Theory, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, and Gunther in the ring. Keep in mind, Logan Paul has rolled out from under the bottom rope and is outside. Rollins and Rhodes actually end up teaming up unintentionally or intentionally, where Rollins stomps Austin Theory and then Rhodes clotheslines him out of the ring. Then we see some teamwork on Gunther with Rollins and Rhodes, both hitting pedigrees on Gunther, but then Rhodes and Rollins get back at it, going back at it and fighting. Rollins is getting ready to pedigree Cody Rhodes, but Logan Paul comes back in, tosses out Seth Rollins. We are now down to 3 with Logan Paul, Cody Rhodes, and Seth Rollins. Logan Paul, I mean. My slip there with who I thought was left. But Logan Paul gets hit with a crossroads, and then Cody Rhodes tosses him out. We're now down to Gunther and Cody Rhodes. And I believe these guys went like 6-7 minutes. I think they were trying to match Undertaker and Shawn Michaels from the 2007 Royal Rumble, which happened in the same arena, by the way. After a few minutes back and forth actions, including a little shout out to Goldust by Cody Rhodes with the Shattered Dreams in the corner on Gunther, and ultimately a crossroads and clothesline, Gunther goes out after surviving an hour and 11 minutes and 40 seconds, breaking an overall 30-man Royal Rumble record that's set since 2006. But Cody Rhodes wins from number 30 for the 5th time someone has won the Rumble from number 30, making that the luckiest entrant of overall. And Cody Rhodes will be going to WrestleMania with a title shot in hand.
All right. Delisha, your thoughts on the men's Royal Rumble match, and then I'll get into how I felt.
I think overall it was I thought it was really good. I did like the showcase of Gunther as kind of being the Iron Man of the match, lasting all the way from number 1 into the end. And then I think we had a really good, actually no, I don't think we had any NXT guys come through. Am I correct?
No NXT men.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, technically the whole roster is all basically now NXT alone, but yeah, I did like it. It did showcase, Baron Corbin aside, how like much depth the roster does have. Like, so until you actually sit and think about it, you don't really realize like how many great talents they have, because sometimes because of where storylines are going or because someone has all the belts, Roman, you can't always get to like showcase like what your different rosters can do. And I think one of the fun things about the Rumble, I mean, honestly, the Rumble is just, it's to catapult someone into the main event scene for WrestleMania. I mean, that's really kind of what this Rumble's about. I mean, on paper, literally, the match is you're guaranteed a spot at WrestleMania, and that's what everyone wants to attain to do. Uh, Storyline wise for the WWE, working in WWE, like you want to have that WrestleMania match. So like I think seeing all the different people, and we did kind of start to lay some foundations on where Mania may go. Like we saw the stare down between Gunther and Sheamus, Gunther and Drew, Gunther and Lesnar, for goodness sake. And I want all three of those matches tomorrow. But honestly, I do want to see Sheamus and Gunther at Mania, and Sheamus finally collects his final Infinity Stone, so to speak, of the one belt that he hasn't had yet. And I think I'm pretty sure. Well, I don't know if they'll do Lashley and Lesnar at Chamber, but you want it. If not, it's definitely going at WrestleMania. And then we have like little other small storyline because of Corbin. I like can't even remember the last time he won a match of his. I don't. They need to do something with him. I don't know. And you still got Edge and the Judgment Day over here, so you kind of get like little small story beats as we are getting in our car to head to WrestleMania on the road. I really did like that, and I will do a small rebuttal after Cal speaks his piece of why he didn't like this Rumble.
All right, so now here are the facts. The Logan Paul spot was pretty cool with the Ricochet because I'm good. I like Ricochet. I wish he get pushed more. Gunther getting acknowledged and having the new record is awesome. That's good to see because he works really hard. And I'm actually more impressed with Gunther because I watched a YouTube video of him like talking about like they're doing like a old school like wrestling video game. They brought it up and they showed pictures of wrestlers and how they look back in the night like on 90s graphics or 80s graphics. I mean, sorry, 90s are the aughts, meaning 2000s, not 2010s, but 2000 to 2009. Those are called the aughts. In case you didn't know, some education for you. So 90s wrestling games and aughts, they showed how they looked in like SmackDown versus Raw, like or maybe No Mercy or whatever game it was. They showed like how they looked, and they had current superstars guess who those wrestlers were, and like the person who got the two people who got the most right were Gunther as well. Well, he had I was going to say Evolution, whatever their group is called. Imperium, yeah. Imperium was flanked on his side, so he kind of had a little help, but he like knew like he was like the one guessing all right, as well as AJ Styles. He got all of them right as well. So I was happy to see that. The person who got the most wrong was Naomi, and that's why she's probably fired and no one cares about her. So that's good. I mean, I like to see seeing Gunther like he it shows that he knows wrestling, right? I mean, obviously he's a ring general, but like he knows the history of wrestling, which is great. I like that. And I like to see that he was like honored in the ring and now has a record. That's awesome. I don't think anyone has the new record that beat Kane, right? I'm sure Will knows that, but I don't think anyone. I think Braun Strowman and Roman were the closest ones to doing it, and they're probably not. Or like maybe Shawn Michaels is up there too, but
I have that for you. If
yeah,
you
but no one broke it. My point is that no one broke it, right? Like no one broke that.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
Oh, which record is this?
Like Kane's all-time eliminations.
Oh, okay.
Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar are the closest at 34 eliminations for Braun, 32 for Lesnar.
Okay, yeah. So
you mean total? Okay, I thought you meant in one single.
No, well, I think Braun has that, but that's only because he did the 40-man Rumble, right? Or the greatest Royal
Rumble.
Yeah.
But Lesnar had it too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, like, it's also not fair because that was like the larger Royal Rumble.
I only count the 30-man.
Yeah, me too.
Well, technically, this one wasn't a 30-man Rumble.
Yeah, that's true too. But anyway, those are the good things. Let's talk about, the bad things. How many times have you seen Kofi, or at least the chair thing being used, right? So Kofi's done it once properly. Naomi's done it once, and then now they tried to have him do it again, and he messed up, right? Or I don't know if he messed up or whatever. Like, I think Xavier was supposed to like hold the chair better so that he got onto it. Like they try to make it too spectacular, or like just do a simple thing. Like he was supposed to be. I'm sure he's probably supposed to be thrown out by Lesnar anyway, but like we don't want to see the same gimmick again. You know, like we know Kofi can stay in. Have him do a cooler way to stay in. Another thing, like there weren't really any surprises. Like Edge, yes, that was awesome. See Edge back. Other than that, like I think I was surprised to see Logan Paul back. You know, I don't like Logan Paul as a YouTuber, but as a wrestler, he's great. He's fun to watch. He's very athletic. He does really cool things in the ring. That's awesome. But did he come back to really possibly? Like no one comes back from the. But he's also young, right? He's always, what is it, 17 years old or something like that. You know, so like he heals fast because he's young. So I guess that makes sense. But like I'm sure if he's not healed properly and he does some of this stuff again, you know, he's gonna get injured again. So that's kind of hard to see. Other than that, there weren't really any surprises, which kind of sucks. Everyone loves a Royal Rumble to see like legends come back or surprise returns or surprise people. Like I don't know who Jay White is, but everyone's talking about how Jay White was supposed to come and like that was supposed to be big, but he didn't come. The Rock, obviously, that's what I wanted the most, and he didn't come, so that sucks. Everyone knew Cody Rhodes is probably gonna win this match, if not The Rock, right? If The Rock didn't show up, and once we get to level like not level like number 29, and Logan Paul came out, like that's pretty much it. Like we know Cody Rhodes is next, so therefore Cody Rhodes. There's no surprise to who won the Royal Rumble. I think like we knew since like 1947, Cody Rhodes was going to win this Rumble, and then we know who was going to win the Women's Rumble. Like Will's been saying it forever as well. You know, to credit to Will, but like I think it was pretty obvious. Like it was like there's no surprise. And that the one thing about the Rumble is I like surprises. I like seeing like things because like don't forget. There's two belts, right? Well, technically there's two belts, but like, so one person could be surprised. I'd rather have the Rumble be a surprise, kind of like how they did with like, I forgot who won the Rumble when Kofi Mania happened. Well, who won the Rumble when Kofi Mania happened?
Kofi Mania was in 2019. That Royal Rumble winner was Seth Rollins.
Okay, so Seth Rollins, right? So then everybody wanted Kofi like he won the Elimination Chamber, right? Was that it?
Kofi was in the Elimination Chamber replacing Mustafa Ali. That's when Kofi Mania really took off.
So yeah, so like that, like I like to see like we still have the Elimination Chamber coming up. So maybe have Cody win that. And the reason why Cody was probably last is because he was injured, right? He's coming back from injury, so he's not probably 100% yet. But they wanted to have him set up for WrestleMania. I mean, yeah, for WrestleMania. So maybe just have him come in early and get eliminated, and everyone gets shocked, or maybe stay in there for a while and then get eliminated, but not take too much action, you know. And then have him win the Elimination Chamber because that'll be like more like arduous for him in that case. Him coming at 30 and then like you know like winning. I don't know. I wasn't happy with that. So that's what you know. And then there's also the first person against the 30th person, which was cool to see because I wanted Gunther. Well, that's what Cody Rhodes come out like you know it's over. It's a wrap. Cody's gonna win this, but it would have been cool to see Gunther win and then have you know whatever.
That was the first time ever, by the way. First time ever that entrant 1 and entrant 30 were the final 2 in the Rumble.
Yeah, so I mean, I made a note of that. I'm like, oh, that's number 1 and number 30, but like, I wasn't happy. Alicia, what did you have to say for rebuttal? Not that it matters. Whatever she said doesn't matter.
So not really. I guess rebuttal was too strong a word because I halfway agree with you about that. Maybe there could have been 1 or 2 more like surprises, like oh snaps. I wasn't expecting them to show up type of deals. So really, it was from my standpoint of rebuttals more of the predictability is that sometimes that's not always a bad thing. Just because we're all smart marks and we kind of know how these storylines get written because we've been watching for so long, doesn't mean it wasn't the right call. Like this is what they've had in mind for. I feel like pretty much since Cody came back to the WWE was to him possibly we can get into that a little bit later, possibly dethroning or getting the championship at Mania. So for me I was like, well, of course, because there was only one other person that people were really kind of rooting for anyway to win the Rumble, and they weren't in it. So there wasn't really much of the Rumble where people were like, yeah, I mean, that guy, I definitely is going to win, or I would be, and anyone else besides Cody, or if Sami Zayn was in it, was going to be a shock. So, but it also kind of, like, if you're writing the book, kind of didn't make sense. Because there's like the other big names, they're involved in like different, you know, storylines that you know that they're going to try to complete either by Mania or at Mania or somewhere in between these next 2 pay-per-views. So that's why I really wasn't that mad at that. Now, like I said, could there have been like another couple of people like I really thought like Braun Breaker or maybe like Carmelo Hayes would have been in the Rumble just to get some eyes on them because those 2 are like prime and ready to be on the main roster. So like something like that, I was a little surprised to see, but I mean, for me, it didn't phase me. Like I still enjoyed the Rumble that they gave us, especially after last week's clusterfuck of a Rumble. That Jesus, I just the more I can not think about it is better. But yeah, overall, as a Royal Rumble, I didn't mind it whatsoever.
Yeah. Before,
I mean, I
And
had, of course, there were
I
other
completely
Rumbles
agree.
that were like great. Like, of course, the 2020 Rumble was like one that's gonna live. In my top 10, just for Edge's return. And like, even the 2019 Rumble was really good. So, of course, there are other Rumbles that are gonna be ranked above it, but this one, people were saying this is the worst Rumble that they've ever seen. I'm like, come
Did
on,
you not
guys.
see last year's?
who won last year's? I don't even know who won last year's.
Lesnar
Brock Lesnar.
and Ronda
Oh,
Rousey.
yeah, that's already better. Yeah, that's already better.
Oh,
So,
But
wait,
like,
Will, before I go to you, one quick thing. Yeah, the whole thing was that
I gotta play.
the Rock was supposed to win, right? The Rock, and he said he wasn't in shape to compete.
they initially wanted The Rock to be in this Rumble and win it to have him versus Roman Reigns at Mania. Cody Rhodes was the backup plan.
Right, and that's what they want their backup.
Yes.
And the backup is never as good as the original option.
Oh, here's what drives me nuts is Rey Mysterio was taken out. He was injured Friday night at SmackDown in his match with Karrion Kross. The way I would have booked it was, say Rey Mysterio got attacked by Judgment Day earlier in the day, and he's not capable for the Royal Rumble. And then as a replacement for his entry, you put Braun Breaker or Carmelo Hayes in there instead of having an unused spot. Because we didn't even know he was injured until either yesterday or today. So we were all in the DMs like talking like, oh, hopefully Rey Mysterio comes out and eliminates Dom later on in the match. We were all hoping for that, but it never happened.
I mean, that would only have worked if they would have known maybe on Friday. Now if they didn't know until maybe like Saturday. Well, they have. I mean, they could have put someone else on the roster there. It might have been too late to get someone from NXT because without them already being scheduled to be there because they were in Texas and they're in anyway. But yeah, they definitely could have if they had known by. It all depends on when he was not cleared to be in the Rumble, honestly. And you might not get the answer to that question. But yeah, it depends on that. And then yeah, like you said, they could have showed him being taken out. Because I mean, I think I said in chat, like it would have been really apropos for Ray to finally get his revenge and eliminate Dom, or Dom eliminate Mysterio, and then we can set them up for the son versus father Mania match. But
well, one last thing about the whole like the Rock and all that thing, like because I gotta say hi to Randall and Shug. Welcome for joining. Shug is saying that like the Rock is not needed. He had his time, but Rock draws the money. Yeah, that's movies compared to wrestling. Wrestling fans are like want to see that, right? So like they want to see Rock versus Roman. That's the thing they've been wanting to see forever. It's been like a chatter forever. So yes, he does.
Ever since this whole tribal chief gimmick went on, that's what we won't want.
We don't know who the real tribal chief of the Anoa family is, but yeah, that would have been cool. Also, someone had fantasy book that it was actually another revamping of Hollywood Rock coming back, especially when he has like the backlash going on from like Black Adam. They was like he should have came out in a Black Adam shirt and just go into almost toe on the line between heel and face. You know how The Rock can be. But that would be cool. I mean, it's still not out of the question, guys.
Yeah, go ahead. I was gonna address what Sugar was saying in the chat.
Because like even though he says he's not in ring shape, the guy is not. He's not like flabby arms and belly and can't go. I mean, no strength whatsoever.
Like a bodybuilder can't run like a marathon. I mean, there might be some out there, so don't quote me on that. But like having muscles weighs more than having fat, right?
Oh, no.
So,
but
like having the stamina is what takes. Like wrestling takes a lot out.
I was also trying to get at that he literally could have said anything else like my schedule doesn't allow it. Which knowing this guy, he's got 15,000 projects, but that he could have said. But I think I think it's possible that it could just be another like swerve or another way to just like be like, I don't know if I'll be there. Hint, hint. I'll probably be there.
The whole thing is that his schedule was free. That's why everyone expected him. It was free from now until WrestleMania. Like, so that's why everyone expected him there.
Know that though? Like, who's in this man's calendar? How do y'all know?
Everyone knows.
I know he's free.
But one last thing about that to address what Suge was saying is that like they don't need the title picture. They don't need him in the title picture. But what the original plan was is to have a 2-night to Roman to wrestle on 2 nights, both Saturday night main event and Sunday night main event. And one night he'll face Rock for the Universal Championship, which Roman will probably win and hold on to. And then he'll face Cody Rhodes on Sunday night for the WWE Championship and lose that to Cody. That way, that's the one that goes down the line. Actually, technically, both can technically go down the line of his father, but this one more so, and it'll mean more to him if he won the WWE title. And that's what
I mean, the thing with that is just like, I feel like it just would kind of overshadow everything. I mean, and it kind of does a disservice to Cody too, because like you kind of, if you were to win, you beat the guy who already had a tough match the night before type of deal. I think right now, because of the whole same situation, they were not expecting him to get that over. If you remember, it wasn't supposed to go this long. It was literally supposed to be like a few weeks, and then him and KO get into a program or whatever. But because Sammy organically just got himself over, not even like trying to, just being just that good, they've now, I mean, they have like the best possible dilemma a writing team could ever have. It's just like they have so many options right now of how they can write this story. And I think that's also what's the most intriguing with Cody winning and the rumors of The Rock and how Sam is getting all over. Is that, and we'll talk about it later about what happens at the end of the Rumble. I mean, not the Rumble, but whatever.
Pay-per-view.
Yeah, that there are so many intricacies and ways that we can go, and the fact that we don't know what they're going to do, like 100%, I think is why this is like it is one of the best storylines that they've in wrestling history.
WrestleMania 17, Rock versus Stone Cold, best storyline in history.
But I think one of.
Oh, agreed.
The best.
The whole Rock Stone Cold WrestleMania trilogy is what an amazing.
But like
story
that WrestleMania 17 had the best promo ever with the My Way song and all that. But so I guess let's move on because we've been talking about the men's Royal Rumble forever, and no one cares about the men's Royal Rumble. Nobody likes Cody Rhodes, so let's move on.
I think 50,000 fans in that arena.
Okay, the next match was the pitch black match, the marathon of a match featuring Bray Wyatt against LA Knight, and probably I spent more time announcing them or introducing that match than the match actually happened, because that match was literally 5 minutes long. I looked it up; it was 5 minutes long, and like I'm guessing that like 4.5 of that was the entrances, because all that happened was Bray Wyatt came out after LA Knight. And what the cool thing was, and I know Big Time tweeted this, and I agree with him that like a lot of Bray Wyatt matches should be like this from now on. They tried it with Sin Cara. It didn't really work with Sin Cara. But when having his like the thing when like Jeff Hardy used to come out with the black light on the entrance where his face was painted looked cool. This was the entire match for Bray Wyatt, and that looked cool. No one likes Jeff Hardy, so let's not talk about Jeff Hardy. But Bray Wyatt, on the other hand, looked really cool when he was wrestling the rest of the match. Basically, as soon as Bray Wyatt came out, LA Knight jumped him and put him through the announcer table, I think he believed. And then I think Wyatt went for the toolbox, and then Wyatt went for the toolbox, and then LA Knight hit him with a kendo stick. It didn't have any effect on him, because as soon as he got started with the kendo stick, Bray Wyatt hit the Sister Abigail and got the 1, 2, 3 like within like 2 minutes of the match starting, or 3 minutes. It was more of a walking around and stop. Oh wait, I think someone donated. Thank you whoever donated. Thank you for that. I was expecting that. But thank you so much whoever donated. I really appreciate it. Yeah. So that just threw me off. I wasn't expecting that. Okay. Anyway. Doesn't even come up on like my our joint show, which is weird. But anyway, okay, so yeah, hit Sister Abigail. He got the pin, 1, 2, 3, won the match. Most of it was stalking of Bray Wyatt and LA Knight. It wasn't even like any wrestling. It was like nothing. I know there's like 3 total moves. Even if there was even moves, mostly hitting with weapons. But anyway, Bray Wyatt then continued to stalk LA Knight. LA Knight, I think, tried to hit him with the kendo stick, but then Bray Wyatt put on the mandible claw, and this was basically on the outside where apparently, not apparently, it happened. What's his face? Uncle Howdy appeared above them, jumped off, and landed on LA Knight, and fireworks went off, and that was about it. Was it cool? Yeah. I mean, the lighting was cool. Do we expect more from Uncle Howdy and Bray Wyatt? Probably. I did. This is the one match I was looking forward to. Unfortunately, it was like 30 seconds long. And that's about it. I don't know. I'm going to go to Delisha first this time, Delisha. All right, I went to Delisha first last time. Will, this time, you're first. I don't know if you want me to say... Wait, sorry. I don't know if you want me to say your name, but thank you. I appreciate it. I see who did it, but I don't know if you want me to say your name because it's your real name on Twitter. So I mean on PayPal. I appreciate it. Thank you though. The person who donated. Go ahead. Sorry, Will. Go ahead.
I was like really confused on what this whole match was going to be when they first announced it. Like, I remember talking with Big Time, Side, and Delisha and all them on the Twitter. Like, I hope this isn't just a regular match with regular lighting and they just title it Big Black with the sponsorship from Mountain Dew. But the lighting was outstanding. I think this was the best match lighting for the Bray Wyatt character, better than the Red Fiend lighting. I think we can all agree with that. I do think the match could have went longer. I feel like the post-match assault was longer than the actual match. But I do kind of get where they're trying to go with the timing of that match, because I think we're trying to book like this side of Bray Wyatt is a monster and can't be stopped. I hope every Bray Wyatt match is not that pace, but has that lighting.
Yeah, I agree. The lighting was the best part of the match, and it worked well with his face paint, which was good. Completely unique. No one's ever done that before, so no one that's mattered has done it before. Go ahead, Delisha, your thoughts on the match.
Yeah, I missed it live because I went to go put Rose to bed. I think I went up after Bray's entrance, and by the time I came back down, it was to the where Bray had won, and I was like, "Wow, okay, that was shorter than I thought it would be," and yeah, I think this was a total flop, honestly. We did all this build up for what? I I it's I think I know it's because they wanted to get to a big pay-per-view for Wyatt's entering return. Cool. But all the build up and LA Knight basically carrying this feud to make it interesting. And he gets like flatlined in 5 minutes. Um and I mean, I did like the lighting was cool, the facing was cool. The Uncle Howley spot was interesting. Probably would have been more effective if he landed the actual drop, but it was dark. Can't really see that great. It just left with more questions than answers, and at this point, we need more answers than questions. I feel like we need like what are we doing at this point? It's like I'm still invested, but I'm kind of annoyed at the same time, if that makes sense. Because I'm like, again, I don't know what's going on, and not the good way. Like, oh man, like with the bloodlines, I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know how it's gonna go. It's more like, what the f is going on? And I just wanted to get to it.
I don't mean to interrupt you. Am I the only one that actually understand what was going on with this storyline? Am I the only one that was watching SmackDown and all this going on? Like, because Bray Wyatt was saying that LA Knight was bringing out his darker side. So this match brought out his darker side, and he was saying that his darker side was much more dangerous. So they were trying to make it so that dangerous side was like unstoppable and all that.
I get that.
So that's why it turned into a squash match. In my opinion, that's the way I took it.
I get it. I know. Fundamentally, I get what they're trying to do, but it's not translating, or at least this has been what, since SummerSlam, was it, that he made his return?
Made his return at Extreme Rules.
Extreme Rules, and that was what, like almost 6 months ago.
Oh, it was back in October.
Oh, it felt like it was 6 months ago, and I feel like if someone were to ask me like what is the storyline about, I couldn't really tell them. Um, because we've done a whole lot of like trying to do like cliffhangers of like dangling the carrot in front of the horse type of deal, but I don't. It's not really paying off for me, and I don't think this match. Like honestly, this could have been a main event of SmackDown. Honestly, it didn't need to be here on the Rumble, especially if they were just going to get 5 minutes. And I don't, even though I just don't feel like it showed a dangerous side of Bray Wyatt. Like I said, I'm still invested. I still want to like the story. I still want to see where this goes. But right now, I'm just like towing the line of I'm kind of out. But I'm still gonna watch because I like and he's such a creative like genius that I want to see what his vision is fully is. But I'm kind of like we need to kind of get to the point here a little bit.
Let me just chime in right here and say it was Suge Knight that donated, so thank you, Suge Knight, for donating. I usually don't have my prompts coming up on our joint show, but I want to. He did ask a question to all of us, so I'm gonna give it to Will first. We already know the answer, it's a fake answer that Will can give because I already told you that nobody likes this person. But he asked us who our favorite wrestler is to each of us. So Will, you go first.
Jeff Hardy.
Nobody likes Jeff Hardy. Go ahead, Alicia.
Is this supposed to be of all time?
Yes, of all time.
Oh my gosh, that is so tough. I kind of well, I don't want to steal Cal's answer, but you know what? I'm gonna say it because they got me into wrestling after I got scared. I'm not gonna go into that story so long. If you want to know why I left wrestling when I was a kid, tweet me and I'll let you know. But it was the Hardy Boys, Edge Christian, the whole like tag team scene at that time with TLC. Like that's what got me like hook, line, and sinker. I'm a fan for life type of deal. So I'll go with the Hardys, Edge Christian. But right now it's Pete Dunne because he's amazing and he deserves all the things.
So she said Edge. No one else really mattered in that besides Christian. All right, so the only answer that matters right now. My favorite wrestler is Bret Hart because he's actually a wrestler. If you talk about,
I don't like Bret Hart.
No, everyone loves Bret Hart. He's the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will. But as for superstar, and probably The Rock. Yeah, The Rock. But wrestlers definitely Brock. Definitely not Brock. Bret Hart comes together as Brock. That's weird. Bret Hart and Brock comes together as Brock. But yeah, Bret Hart definitely is my favorite wrestler. All right. We've probably spent more on this match than we
we talked about this match longer than
the match actually happened. So next match is for the Raw Women's Championship featuring the Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair against Alexa Bliss, and I believe Alicia's covered this match.
Yeah. Honestly, this was I don't know the actual time, but it was only slightly longer than the Bray Wyatt and LA Knight match, and it literally was we're gonna hit our greatest hits moves, and then you're gonna get the KOD, and then I'm out. I'm going back on the plane to go. I'll see you at Monday Night Raw. I don't know. Like that's literally how this match went. The only two, I guess, standouts was Bliss. She had this sort of like bow and arrow submission move where she used Bianca's braid. Okay, and then Bianca blocks the Sister Abigail and gets her the KOD, wins the match, gone to the back to go celebrate with Montez. I don't know. To me, this was a great disappointment of a match. I mean, to no surprise that Bianca won because in this right now character of Bliss, like, can you really see her being Raw Women's Champion right now? Let's be honest. Like, no shade to Bliss because I love her. She is phenomenal. Well, I know we reserved her for another one, but
can't use that term for her.
Okay, she's great.
Yes,
but
she's blissful.
Right now she's still in that limbo of like, what the heck are you doing? We did get a cryptic video from Uncle Howdy with saying you think you're in charge. So of course we're not done with Bliss. She's involved in this Wyatt connection, and actually in an interview, I think in the post pay-per-view interview or the next day or whatever, as Bray, he did say him and Alexa are tied for life. So take that as you will. I mean, everyone knows she's involved, but now again, let's get to the point of why. I mean, we know of what's going on with all this. So,
well,
all in all, the match was fine. I don't think it was premium live event quality. Again, like I said, they only had about 6 to 7 minutes of actual match time, and even though we all knew Bianca was winning, it's just like it wasn't the greatest, and I was very disappointed because I love these two. I know how great these two can go, and I was really disappointed.
Right. So I completely agree with that, but I have to say something to Delisha because you are a huge fan of storytelling, correct? So if we said get to the point with the Roman Reigns story 2 or 3 years ago, we probably would have been saying what we are now with saying how it's the greatest story that's been told in the last 2 years of wrestling, correct? So who
No,
knows if this? And we always say how good of a storyteller Bray Wyatt is and how creative he is. So maybe give him time. We'll see. I do want to get to a point with it.
I just am like, it's you're not giving enough breadcrumbs to be more intrigued. I'm still left with a lot of questions, but they're not good
Right.
questions.
That's how he works, right? That's the thing. Like the whole thing about like the before the Fiend was created, with him like saying like my dark persona, or whatever, and that like took like a few months to develop, right, to come to fruition, and having the little puppets saying stuff like that, and then the screen flashing saying like, let me in, and like having a demonic face. Like it took a while for that, so that's how he works. He's very slow and methodical, much like Roman Reigns promos now, right? So he's changed and developed over time. Bray Wyatt is kind of like giving just a little bit, but not enough to like, get you over that hump that you want to get over. So give it time. We'll see how it works. And
I mean, like I agree. It is definitely a slow burn, but right now the chapter of his story that we're in, I'm not 100% on board with. I don't. I mean, this is totally not off topic, but uh, to anyone, to maybe the one person, maybe in this whole entire live stream, if you read the actual book of Gone Girl, it is a slow burn until that switch happens, and then you're like on board. So I feel like that's where I'm at, where it's like I am chugging through this book. That everyone says is so great, and I'm just waiting for that turn to get me
right,
fully invested. Like I said, I'm still invested. I still like am very intrigued to know how this is going to play out. It's just that right now, the lead up to this, I'm just like, can we get to it? I had more fun leading up to. We're getting back. We're not. It's not even the match supposed to be. But I had more fun with the lead up to the Fiend and his, I guess, possession of Alexa Bliss. So I mean, until that went to crap. But I had more fun with that build up than I am having right now.
Will, your thoughts on this match?
I thought this was a Raw match. Like how we were saying about the Pitch Black match being a SmackDown main event match. I felt like this is something that you could see on any normal Raw episode. I felt like it could have been better. Both performers are great. Great. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a little tired of seeing Bianca Belair as champion. Same with Charlotte Flair. Although I do have a theory about where we're going with this whole Alexa Bliss Bray Wyatt situation. Bray Wyatt's mostly on SmackDown. We're gonna assume that the Royal Rumble winner is gonna be going out to Bianca Belair for the Raw Championship. Yep. Yep. I think Alexa Bliss is gonna have a serious turn of. I'm not talking to you. Oh, she's gonna have a.
That's why I changed the name of mine.
She's gonna have a serious turn of character, like Elimination Chamber, and then we see her on SmackDown, and we're gonna get Bliss for Charlotte at Mania, and there's gonna be a twist involving a whole Bliss and Wyatt scenario there. Yeah, that's how I think I see that working. I do like where we're going. That it's a slow burn. I like slow storytelling like that. Like that, it's some of the best stories that you get in wrestling. The long-term storytelling. So story-wise, the match was story-wise it was okay. The match could have been better. We could have seen a better performance rather than just a normal Raw match. But I'm thrilled to see where the story's going for both sides.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good take on it. I mean, the only other way that it would not be that way is because Rhea Ripley wants to get revenge on Charlotte Flair for going after her for NXT title when she won the Royal Rumble. But like her being a heel makes more sense. I mean, I know that Charlotte Flair's a face too, but it makes more sense for her to go after Bianca Belair, especially with Judgment Day being on Raw. And I would like to see that switch first. Alexa to go to. All right, let's move on to the next match, which happens to be the Women's Rumble. And I believe Alicia's covering this as well. Even with 3 people, we can't get like. Well, I guess Will's matches are spread out, but no matter what, Alicia's our matches are always back to back to back. Go ahead,
It's fine. Yeah, so speaking of Rhea Ripley, she started the Women's Rumble coming out as number 1. Selling she was still like not feeling it from Beth Phoenix's spear earlier on in the card. And we have Liv Morgan, Jersey girl, Cal's favorite, coming in at number 2. She actually wanted to start the Rumble for some reason. I don't strategically why I don't know why you would want to do that, but fair enough. But I'm just gonna hit a little bit of like highlights here because just much like Will not going down everyone who came out. Big spot Bailey coming in number 6. Excuse me. Coming in, and then she would soon be joined by Kai and Io Sky. Much like how Judgment Day did in the Men's Rumble, Damage Control would do in the Women's Rumble, stick together and eliminate as many of their opponents as they could. And we had Natty making her return from number 11, going right after Shayna Baszler, who came in a little bit earlier in that match. Of course, they have beef because Shayna Baszler legitimately broke her nose, but like also kayfabe broke her nose, to where she had to get legit reconstructive surgery to get that fixed. So of course they had a big beef. And then coming out at number 15 was the man, Becky Lynch, who immediately, of course, because she is embroiled with a feud with Damage Control, went after Kai and Scott. Every time I say that, I think Kai and Ty, and then Kai and Scott. And then, much to the fans' dismay, not just dismay, greatness, she was the one who to eliminate Io Sky and Dakota Kai. And that would cause Bailey to then eliminate her, and then they will go on to fight again along ringside. I guess as they also earlier, they kind of got Becky underneath the ropes and then tried to take her out again, like they did on the 30th anniversary of Raw. We won't get into that, but she would come back in because that's what faces do, and then get the eliminations done. And then at number 17, we got the return, I guess, of Asuka, because she was missing on action for a few weeks. I think she was taken up by Damage Control, but I'm not entirely sure. To a great reaction, and much to the fans like cheer. She is dressed in her, I think it's Kana. Kana character back in from when she was in Japan. That really just to let you know that she means business this time, and you're about to get your ass kicked. I mean, not that she wasn't kicking your ass before, but now it's like I think in WWE terms, based off what she was doing in Rumble and her new attire and facial paint, where I think we're gonna go back to the kind of like old Asuka from NXT, kind of where she's just running rampage on everybody, and I am all for it. And I will have something to say about that a little bit later on. And then another, surprise but rumored to be there was, I guess, her official debut of Chelsea Green. If you don't know who, she debuted in NXT a couple years ago, and then had a small run on the main roster when they stupidly split up. Why did their names escape me? The two Aussie teammates.
Billy Kay and Peyton Royce.
Yeah, I don't know what. Literally, I had their faces and their name. My brain was like, nope, I am not giving you that information. She teamed up with. Shut up, Joe. But yeah, she made her appearance and was immediately ejected by Rhea Ripley. I know people were mad about that on Twitter, but from what I'm hearing, there is a legit purpose to that for a character that they're trying to do for her coming up. So just stay tuned. It might not be as bad as we thought it would be. And then a couple entries after that, we had the hometown hero of Raquel Rodriguez Of course, she got a big pop because they're in her home state, and her family members were there. And Corey, with his like borderline racist comment of saying he he like half the people in attendance is probably her family. I'm like, sir, I don't think that was the line you want to go with, but I digress. And then for I guess maybe I mean surprise it to me was number 25. We had Michelle McCool's entrance music coming up, which left people not confused but like surprised because she was actually sitting ringside behind the commentator table, and it was funny to me because I they showed her earlier in the pay per view, but then I don't know if they showed her again. I kind of forgot she was there, so when her music came and she's still sitting there, I legit thought she had moved and was just gonna come out, but she comes from the crowd into the match, which I think was like that was like a little fun spot to have in the Rumble. I mean, how many people has anyone ever? Well, yeah, only people who ever done that was the commentators who were in the match of like Michael Cole, Booker T. I think there might have been the only two coming from the commentary table to the ring, and um, and was that the same? And also Jerry Lawler. All happened in one Rumble. Wow. Um, Before we get to the very last entrance, I did want to make a note that we did get a couple of NXT gals coming in. We had our Roxanne Perez, who was the NXT Women's Champion. We got Indy Hartwell. We did get the return of Piper Niven, uh, known as Dewdrop, but I'm really glad they nixed that name. We also had like BFAB make her Royal Rumble debut. She was in there for about 7 seconds and got eliminated. Yeah. Um, and I think that's as big as like a lot of the like big names. We had like Candice LeRae, like pretty much. We did get the return of Shotzi at I think 28, 27, something like that. With the tank. So yeah, that was fun. I mean, she wasn't in it that long either. And um, we get to number 30. We never got a countdown for number 30. The music just hit, and we thought it was going to be a female member of the Bloodline, but it was not the one we were expecting. We did not feel the glow. It was the woman who's not like most girls. It was the return of Nia Jax, who swore, and I could have sworn she said she was retired, especially after she was released. But you know, for the right amount, no one stays retired, as we know. Looking at you, Ric Flair. But yeah, so she comes out and everyone gets, the whole shocked look on her face, and then they all go after her. And I don't know how many people were in the ring at this time. I feel like it's like 10 or so. And then, but apparently she's just so strong that she can fight them all off. But they did all regroup and just eliminate her at the out of the match. So that was interesting. Excuse me.
That's it.
But we were all wanting to know what came down to the final four. It came down to Asuka, Liv Morgan, or final three, Ripley. All three good contenders of winning the Rumble, and somehow they all ended up on the worst side of the ring that you could ever be on the Royal Rumble, which is over the top rope onto the ring apron. And Asuka went for the mist. Rhea ducked, hits Morgan. She can't see. And then I don't know if it was Asuka's own momentum that took her out or Rhea took her out, but she's wound up on the floor. And then Rhea winds up being dangling from the rope. And then Liv makes slowly her way over, because she can't see because of the mist, and was like trying to hit Rhea. And then Rhea hits, well, she didn't hit her. She kind of just grabbed her with her legs and threw her over. And Rhea Ripley is your 2023 Royal Rumble winner for the women's side. I actually really enjoyed the Rumble. I remember saying in the chat that this is probably the Rumble where you're definitely going to get more NXT women because they don't have enough women on the main roster to fill a Rumble, a 30-woman Rumble. I thought Michelle McCool, I know she can be touted as a legend, but legit, that woman can still go, like, to this day, right now, and put on a good match, I think. Um, yeah, the biggest shock was seeing Nia Jax come in at number 30. Um, Yeah, I mean, I know I was a fan of her before, but it's like we got so many great world women now that I don't really. She's not even a thought in my mind anymore. Rhea was the right choice. Again, I know people were saying, "Oh, it's predictable." Everyone's saying Rhea was gonna win. It's the right choice. Bianca versus Rhea, Mania. Give it to me now. Oh no, obviously can't because it's not Mania yet. Yeah, and I honestly think that it should be Rhea's time to regain the women's title and have Bianca chase at some point later on because that's what she does. Um, Asuka looked great. I'm really glad to see her come back to this like killer Asuka versus the I don't even know what she was these last couple of months, especially when they paired her with Bliss. But overall, I did enjoy the Rumble much like I did the men's. Again, yes, there wasn't like big pop surprises, and I know people were looking for Naomi, but that was just a rumor anyway. No one actually said she was gonna be there, so it would have been cool to see her, but her not being there, I'm not like, oh man, but it's whatever.
All right,
And yeah, go ahead.
let's go to Will. Will, your thoughts on the women's Royal Rumble?
Alright, before I give out my thoughts, I'm going to give out some stats from the Women's Rumble, because we do have some important record stats that were made. Rhea Ripley, firstly, ties for most eliminations by a woman in a single Rumble at 8, alongside Bianca Belair and Shayna Baszler. Rhea Ripley also takes the lead for women eliminations with 22. No woman has more eliminations than her right now, overall. Both Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan survived an hour, 1 minute and 7 seconds, which is a longest time for a woman to survive in a single Rumble. And Rhea Ripley also has the most accumulative time, but I don't remember what that is off the top of my head, and I'm not going through my spreadsheet to find that. I know it's over 2 hours and like 20 minutes. We also had 7 debuters in this Rumble for Royal Rumble debut rookies. VFAB, Emma, Roxanne Perez from NXT, Zoe Stark from NXT, Indy Hartwell from NXT, Pepper Divot, and Raquel Gonzalez. I thought this, I swear, the Women's Rumble gets better and better every year. And I don't remember who said it in the Discord messages. I'm not the one who said this, but I agree with the person that said it. It's because that they are using their talent instead of bringing back nostalgia acts to fill a Rumble. Which, I mean, I love a good nostalgia act in the Rumble, but if you have the talent, use the talent first. But I thought this was outstanding. Like, I mean, with the exception of the botched appearance from Nia Jax, which I believe they hit the button for the clock over the button for the timer. I think those buttons are together because as soon as Nia Jax's music hit, the timer went up. So
they must be right next to each other because like music hit. I was like, wait, what? And then I saw the timer. I was like, oh, okay, oh, sure. Oh no. I heard the crowd first, and then I heard her music.
I heard a report. I saw a report that Nia Jax is back full time. She signed another contract, so she is back with WWE. This wasn't a one-off, apparently. I like Nia, but she needs to work safer.
Okay. For the truth, because you can't handle the truth. All right, this Rumble was all right. It was better than the men's Rumble. I'll give you that. Also predictable, very predictable. I like seeing Indy Hartwell. That's pretty much all I cared about. I think in this Rumble, because Alexa wasn't in it, right? So it's nice seeing Indy Hartwell. No one else really mattered in the Rumble. It's pretty trash. No one wants to see Naomi back. Get her out of here. She took her bag and walked. Let her walk. What else is there to say? I'm glad Rhea Ripley won. That's cool. Liv Morgan had her time, so now it's Rhea Ripley's time again, I guess. Asuka was cool to see again, to see her get a push. Was Shayna Baszler in this Rumble? I don't remember her being.
Yes, she was. Shayna Baszler was entrant 5.
Okay, yeah, I don't see. That's how I don't remember this Rumble at all. Yeah.
And there was actually a botch with Shayna Baszler when she went over the top rope and before she did the Caribou clutch with Natalia and brought Natalia over, Shayna Baszler actually hit the floor and got eliminated. You can see the referee shouting at her, get down, you're out."
Well,
If you go, so there was a botched elimination there. She was out a few seconds later, so it didn't really matter.
this is why women shouldn't have rights, and slowly they're losing. So, anyway, did we see Trish Stratus? No, so that sucked. Did we see? No, that's pretty much all I care about. Anyway, so this match was pretty awful. Better than the men's though, which was god awful. So at least Rhea Ripley won. That's cool. Was it expected? Yes. Like I said, we didn't see Sasha. We didn't see Naomi. That's great because they're get the hell out of here. I don't want to see them ever again in WWE. And that's about it. That's all I have to say about this match because it wasn't really that entertaining for me.
I was gonna say that I think possibly depending on how, of course, how Chamber goes, I think we might get Asuka versus Charlotte at Mania, which right now on paper is much more intriguing. But we'll see. I do, especially
Or triple
especially.
threat. Or triple threat with Alexa, Asuka,
Oh, that's exactly
and
where too.
Charlotte. So
I
yeah,
think-
the two dark ones against Charlotte, who's a face now, right? So
Yeah,
I think at the
she's a face count. Yep, we're all cheering for her. Mm-hmm.
we guys saw how she messed up at the end of SmackDown, like Charlotte, because
No.
she like grabbed the
Oh.
belt. She grabbed the belt from the referee, like she's a heel, but then she's like forgot that she was a face. She's like, oh sorry, like
she was like, "Oh my god, I'm sorry, I'm sorry."
Yeah. yeah, you gotta watch that. It's hilarious.
She's a natural heel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she's naturally selected. All right.
Yeah, no, I think at the Chamber we're gonna see a women's elimination chamber, and the winner of that gets a shot at Charlotte Flair at Mania.
I
Well,
mean,
depending on who chooses what, maybe they throw a
Yeah.
sword.
I know. I don't want to see Charlotte versus Rhea because I do think Rhea and Bianca are more compelling. Like, I honestly think like they legit could be the like going forward as this new generation of like The Rock and Stone Cold. Not at that caliber yet, but like they're
Ever.
well, yeah. I meant like that as like their Batman and Joker type situation. Like those two are like always going to be like going after each other at some point down the line. They did it great in NXT. I mean, it was a short stint, but they did it great in NXT, and we saw that standoff between them at the Rumble in was that 2020 2021, one of the two. And then we've got hints of it throughout 2022, and now I think it's time for them to come to a head. They are two of the legit strongest women in that company. Probably could outdo a lot of the men as well. But I want to see them go at it. Please give it on my eyeballs, please. But yeah, and anyone else can. I mean, for all we know, we don't even know if Charlotte's gonna be the champion come Mania. We don't know, so we'll see. But
And
yeah,
we don't
and
know if Bianca's gonna be
Or
champion
she'll
come
lose it
Mania.
and win it again, which is stupid.
she's gonna lose at night one and then win it again on night.
Or no, lose it or lose an elimination chamber and win it at Rumble. WrestleMania.
Mania.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll see. I mean, there's a lot of different ways we can play it, but let's get to the meat and potatoes.
The
of
final
what
match
everyone wants to talk
is
about.
for like the longest named title ever. It's the Universal Heavyweight World. I don't even know what it's called. Undisputed Women's 24/7, 7-Eleven, 365 Hardcore European Kentucky Fried Chicken Championship, featuring the champion Roman Reigns defending against Kevin Owens. And I believe Will is covering this match because I spoke too much of the Bray Wyatt match, all 5 minutes of it.
Well, it's the WWE Undisputed Universal Heavyweight Championship on the line, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember the first half of this match. I know it was a generic back and forth beginning of the match where there's close calls on both sides. I getting the near falls, and I mean, Sami Zayn was entertaining the entire time. Commentary was trying to play it off that Sami was actually rooting for Kevin Owens. Michael Cole was actually trying to play it off that Sami Zayn was rooting for Kevin Owens over Roman Reigns, while Corey Graves was like, no, he's thrilled that his tribal chief is retaining the championship. But the first thing I remember from this match off the top of my head, and I watched it like 4 or 5 times today to get prepared for this, but referee takes a bump, and Roman Reigns hits Kevin Owens with a low blow. He looks towards Sami Zayn and says to Sami Zayn, "Get me a chair." Sami Zayn shouts into the ring, "You told me to do nothing." Roman Reigns shouts, "Now I'm telling you to get me a chair." Sami goes to where the timekeepers are. You hear Paul Heyman say, "The chair is under here." Sami goes under the ring. Sami hesitates to throw the chair into the ring, and Kevin Owens hits a stunner because of the hesitation and the time miscommunication, and nearly gets a 3 count on Roman. Then Roman Reigns takes over. He starts beating down Kevin Owens outside the ring, and Sami is telling Kevin Owens to stay down, and he's by the barricade. Roman Reigns comes running through, spears Kevin Owens in through the barricade, then picks him up, throws him back in the ring. Kevin Owens rolls back out, and he's now by the stairs on the opposite side of the ring. Kevin Owens grabs Kevin Owens, slams the back of his head onto the steel steps, and you see Sami Zayn cringe in the background. Then Kevin Owens does it again. Roman Reigns does it to Kevin Owens again, and Sami Zayn's still cringing. Michael Cole is yelling at the referee to end the match. Roman Reigns tosses Kevin Owens in, lifts him up, slaps his faces, and then Kevin Owens slaps Roman Reigns back. Roman jumps off the ropes, comes in, does a spear, and then gets the 1, 2, 3 for the win. Cal, would you like to take over the aftermath since you didn't really talk so much this stream?
No, because I was not happy with anything that happened.
Okay, then I'll finish it up. So, after the match, we see the rest of the bloodline come in. You got the Usos, you got Solo Sikoa joining in Jey Uso getting ready to put one of those flower wreath necklace things. I don't know what you call them. I know I'm gonna get hatred for naming this wrong. He's getting ready to put it around Sami Zayn when Kevin Owens says, "No, not yet." Paul Heyman pulls 2 pairs of handcuffs out of his pocket after Usos start kicking Kevin Owens, and then 1D. And I think Solo Sikoa does the Samoan Spike. Then Kevin Owens gets handcuffed to the ropes. It's pretty much super kick partied by the Usos. On the while he's handcuffed to the ropes and he's down. Roman Reigns picks up the chair and is getting ready to hit pretty much knocked out Kevin Owens with the chair when Sami Zayn steps in the way and telling Roman, "You're better than this. This is beneath you. You don't need to do this." Roman Reigns holds the chair up to Sami Zayn and tells Sami Zayn to do it himself. Sami Zayn is clearly hesitating to do it, and Roman is telling him to do it. He starts pie facing Sami because Sami was crying in the ring apparently. But then Roman has his back to Sami, looking at Kevin Owens as if Kevin Owens is about to get pounded with a chair. But Sami Zayn does a swerve, just like Seth Rollins back in 2014, and slams Roman Reigns in the back with the steel chair. Sami Zayn turns his back on the bloodline pretty much here. He looks, I think, straight at Jey Uso and apologizes for it. Jey Uso is stunned. Jimmy Uso is stunned, but clearly getting pissed off. Solo, you can't even see Solo's face in the camera angle they have. And then out of nowhere, Jimmy Uso super kicks Sami Zayn. And Jimmy is yelling at Jey like, "This is your brother? This is your brother? No, I'm your brother." And there's a louder clip of it on Twitter I've seen, I think on WWE's Twitter of that. But then Sami Zayn Jimmy Uso starts punching the daylights out of Sami Zayn. Solo tosses Jimmy off of Sami and does a Samoan Spike. And then meanwhile Jey Uso is backing into the corner like
Wait,
looking
let me ask a quick
traumatized.
question. Which one is the one that didn't like Sami the entire time? Jey. Okay.
But so Roman and as Sami's getting beaten down by Roman, Jimmy, and Solo, Jimmy looks at Jey, and Roman then looks at Jey and like, "Why aren't you getting involved? Get involved." And Jey leaves the ring. He looks up at Roman with a disgusted face and walks out of the area. Roman Reigns picks up the chair and is yelling at Sammy about ruining his family, and pounds him with the chair, then rips off the honorary ooze off his shirt, leaving Sami Zayn sprawled out on the ground. Kevin Owens still knocked out from handcuffs from the ropes. And Roman, Solo, and Jimmy and Paul Heyman all leave the area. As the show is closing out, Roman Reigns is saying to Solo, and it's very low, you can't really hear it too well, but Roman Reigns is saying, Solo, we're going to war now. And then I don't remember the second line that he said, but it was something in the lines of not trusting anybody. I have a couple theories about where this could be going with Jey Uso, but I want to get your guys' opinion on it first.
All right, Delisha, go ahead.
The match went pretty much outside of the bruteness of the steel steps spot. Pretty much how much I thought it would go. It was a kind of standard Roman KO match. Not that that's a bad thing. Like these two, they can just go. But yeah, of course, we're all just going about the ending because we knew, especially I knew, especially when the men started the Rumble, something is going down with KO at the KO Roman match. I think we kind of knew something was going down anyways, but we knew something was going down because as you guys know, I think I say this on a lot of reviews that I personally like when the namesake of the pay-per-view is the main event. However, in this case, this is for the last maybe 6 to 8 months, I think since Sammy joined this whole storyline, like legit joined this storyline. It is the most talked about storyline in wrestling today. So in this particular moment, I don't particularly mind, especially with what we got at the end. The crowd reaction is, this is like, you couldn't write it better. Like they've been on Sammy's side. I don't know since I don't really recall like when like that kind of turn. Like before it was just like, oh, it was annoying Sammy or whatever, and then I really think it was Sammy and Jey that really got everyone like invested, just between them two. And yeah, no, but I don't think that was just like the peak, and it's just like we're all in on Sammy, but it was a roller coaster ride of going up and then crashing down, and as soon as he had the chair in his hand, and I mean just the framing of him behind Roman, you kind of knew it was about to go down, or even then you still could have flipped the coin. But I really do think that this is not the culmination of the storyline. This is like we're in the climax. We're in the end game now for this storyline that will probably culminate at WrestleMania, and then we'll just start another chapter depending on what happens. But I think it's been really great. We knew someone was going to turn on someone. We didn't know. Well, okay, maybe I'll speak for me. I'll just have to speak for me. Didn't know if it was going to be the bloodline on Sammy or Sammy on the bloodline, but it's kind of in the middle because of Jey once again being the X Factor. I don't know if it was me and you or we were talking earlier, Will, or if I was talking to someone else that Jey having PTSD. Oh no, it was
it was you and me.
Yeah, bringing up of Jey having PTSD of him being beat down by Roman, and you can actually make a case that this story is not about Roman Reigns. It's all about Sammy and Jey and their bromanship. And you can make an argument for that. But again, like we were talking about with the slow burn of the Bray Wyatt, this is why I'm not, and it's not in the same camp as this one, because we've been giving great morsels of great entertainment along the way. So while we still don't know what's going to happen, it's been so intricate in. This has basically been Game of Thrones in WWE, honestly. Like, or how Roman's at the table, he's the top guy, and all these different moving parts. Like, legitimately for the last couple of months, like we've had legit storylines happening on Raw and SmackDown that's revolving around the bloodline. Even though we know what that main like storyline is, but we have these branches that are still interchangeably connected. That it's just been really great a movie, so to speak. But I really enjoyed it. SmackDown is gonna be hot on the ratings on Friday for sure, just so people can know what's going on. And Jay did tweet, he said I'm out, so that could be. I don't know if he's like legit out and he's gonna be going back to main event Jay Uso, but like I tried to be on your side, and what I don't know what his promo would be, or another swerve, and he much like is it Tony Soprano, like try to get out, but they keep pulling me back in. Could be another one of those situations, and I'm all here for it to see how the story ends. And legit top 5 best wrestling storylines of all time, and we're not even finished yet.
And also the whole thing of the Usos and their tag titles. So now with Jay doing what he does that mean that Roman or whoever decides to take the titles from Jay and put them on Solo and then have Jimmy and Solo defend those titles? Or does it possibly mean that the Usos are dropping one or both sets of tag titles in the near future?
I forgot.
Yeah, I was gonna give Joe a chance to speak, but I guess that's what he wanted to say about this situation. So are you guys ready now for me? I don't think
Here
you're
we
ready.
go.
All this went to shit. Storyline went to shit. There's no point in even having the Royal Rumble anymore. Cancel the event. Cancel WWE. As soon as when this was the last match and we didn't hear "If you smell loud," and since that didn't happen, who cares? I didn't care about the swerve. I didn't care about the chair shot. It mean nothing to me. This is so stupid now. Like, I don't care. Like, who cares about Sami Zayn? No one likes Sami Zayn anymore. Why is Jey Uso now feeling bad because he hated Sami Zayn for like 78 years? Now he also likes him like 5 minutes. Like, it made no sense. It made no logical sense. If anything, Jimmy would be the one who liked him because Jimmy's like the one who's always smiling in the background. Jay's the one who always doubted him and all that. Like, just because of one thing what was the pay-per-view before that? Survivor Series? Something?
Cal, can I explain to you why Jay will probably be on Sammy's side about this? And I was talking with Alicia while you were having your Discord issues about this. Remember when Roman Reigns and Jey Uso had their rivalry?
Yeah.
Rivalry for the title. Roman Reigns was pretty much beating Jey Uso into submission. He was beating the idea of loyal to the family into Jay's head. That's why Jay had no trust in Sami Zayn at first. But then Jay saw Sami Zayn taking the same beatings that Roman was giving to Jay. He saw Sami Zayn taking those beatings for the family rather than by the family. So he sees himself a little bit here in getting beaten down by his family and Sami Zayn. When he saw Sami Zayn getting beaten down by Roman Reigns and everyone, he was seeing himself getting beaten down. So he in a sense is seeing himself in Sami Zayn right now. So in my opinion, I see this story going into one of two ways. Either Jey Uso completely turns on the bloodline, and Solo Sikoa is now the other half of the tag team champions, and Jey Uso aligned with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Or come Elimination Chamber, we get Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso against Jey Uso and Kevin Owens, and Jey Uso was completely fabricating all this and turned on Kevin Owens right there and showed allegiance to the bloodline at the chamber, one way or the other. I think it can go either way in my opinion. But I do like the idea of Jay not liking the brutality of the beating that he saw there. And well, why can't I put the words to my thoughts right now? But I do like the idea of Jay siding with Sami Zayn. I also think we need to split up the Universal Championship and the WWE Championship. Yeah. So what if out of the blue, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn fighting at Elimination Chamber only one title is on the line, and Jey Uso screws Roman Reigns out of, say, the Universal title, and then Sammy gets the Universal title, and Roman goes to Mania with the WWE title, and Sammy goes with the Universal, thus splitting the belts.
But do you think that makes for a provocative or interesting storyline?
I think it does.
It doesn't matter what you think. So what I have to say about this is it's all trash now, right? So that I don't think that's gonna happen either because they don't want Roman to lose before WrestleMania. They have to have him lose at WrestleMania, not at. So what you're saying about that happening at even if it's one belt, Will, I don't think it's gonna happen because it has to be WrestleMania. It has to be because it's the biggest show. You know, it's their Super Bowl, right? Can the Rock still happen? Yes. Would we maybe we'll see a fatal 4-way the first night where it's like Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso versus Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, and it'll come down to like them all three turning on three, like it's basically a 3-on-1 match in that case, but it'll come down to the friendship of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to win one of those belts between those two, and then the next night will be Cody Rhodes in the second night. That's what I can see happening if The Rock doesn't end up showing up at all.
I can agree with that because then what you do is Roman doesn't have to take the pin. Roman stays unpinned for however many days he's been unpinned now until he faces Cody Rhodes the next night. The only problem with that is, as Luisha said earlier, Cody Rhodes will be fighting a somewhat weaker Roman Reigns because he had fought the night prior.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Although I could see that working too.
Because then they can always make that into a storyline later. Like, you never beat the best of me. And they'll have like a rematch at like a SummerSlam or something like that. Where I said you never beat me at my best. Yeah, or whatever. Yeah, you never beat the best of me. And then like he'll have to fight him 3 times like he fought Seth Rollins 3 times. You know, same thing kind of thing. But that's what I see happening. If The Rock is not involved, that is what I see happening. But other than that, this whole storyline with the shit makes no sense. I don't buy that whole. I understand what you're trying to say. I don't buy it. I think it was kind of stupid. I don't need any of that. Like, I just felt like this all went to shit as soon as I didn't hear if you smell what The Rock is cooking on. I didn't hear that. Does not matter. None of it matters.
I mean, if the man can or not going to show up, they can't do anything about it.
He's always there. It's just he's got to be acknowledged.
Can you see them? Like, did we get Rock and Cena only at Mania, or did they have a SummerSlam match as well?
They tag teamed at a SummerSlam.
No, they tag teamed at Survivor Series against Miz and Truth.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they fought each other back-to-back WrestleManias. Once for the championship.
Because I was like, I know WrestleMania, is granddaddy on them all, is the big show, but there are other, like, so SummerSlam is their third biggest pay-per-view?
I would say second.
Okay.
Not popularity-wise, but what they consider ranking-wise.
Gotcha.
Second.
Yeah.
If we were to cheer the big 4 pay-per-views, the Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series, I think the order would go like this: Mania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble.
Really?
In importance. Even though I like Royal Rumble better than than all those pay-per-views, I think those other 3 are just more like I can't think of the word for it.
Okay.
And I don't want to say important, but elevated, I guess I could say.
Yeah, because I've always said from the beginning when we started the Tribal Chief stuff that Rock versus Roman does not need the title.
Right.
I also think that Roman should go over The Rock, but it really depends on what story they're trying to tell. But yeah, they don't need to be fighting for a belt. Like, we can I don't think it's gonna happen. Maybe the SmackDown after all. Like, he could come there and be like, if you were the true Tribal Chief, you would still be champion or some whatever. They could always spin it. Like, the Rock literally could just do a tweet Mania morning and it'll still have, build up and people will be excited. I know you want to do maximum ticket sales, but I was like, it's so built into to Roman's character right now. They could, as soon as The Rock can do it or wants to do it or will do it, they literally it can just be a go. Like, there's literally, they don't have to, that doesn't need much build up whatsoever. So the fact he didn't come at the Rumble, sure, whatever. Like,
because I just had an idea from what you said. Roman Reigns could drop both belts on both nights of WrestleMania. The night after Mania on Raw, The Rock can appear like on a Titantron over the screen or anything, and it's saw Roman Reigns. Reigns is like, oh, if you were really the tribal chief, you wouldn't have lost either of the belts. And then it could build up a match for them at like SummerSlam or something.
It could even be next WrestleMania. It could be next
I
WrestleMania
don't-
too.
They've
done that. They've done that. They've done
Yeah,
that.
they've done
They
that.
have.
The Rock and Cena, they've done it.
I didn't like that because then you knew what I just felt like it wasn't right build. So for like a whole year thing.
All right, let's score our final thoughts on this before we do our final thoughts for the pay-per-view. Anything else to say about this feud or anything?
I think it's one of, like I've said it already. It's one of the greatest feud storylines they have going on ever. Definitely it is the biggest storyline in wrestling right now, and I'm really excited and wanted to see how they tie this all up, because there's been plenty of times where they could have failed at this, but they're still going strong, and I'm hoping we get a nice bow on it. Of course, not gonna make everybody happy. That you just can't do that, especially with wrestling fans. You just can't do that. And then really got to see Rhea win. Even though predictable with Cody.
No, we're talking about the bloodline thing right now.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it, and I'm very excited to see how we go forward, especially after what just went down.
Will, any last thoughts about this bloodline feud?
This whole bloodline feud, in my opinion, has been probably the best storyline WWE has produced in at least a decade. Some other memorable storylines, in my opinion, from when I was watching wrestling, I could think of Rock and Austin, Jeff Hardy and CM Punk. I'm sorry, that's a high one for me, simply because of their story and their backgrounds and of their personal lives. As that always been a story that touched for me. I think that was always the best CM Punk era. But like even those two rivalries I just mentioned, I think this bloodline is topping that.
Okay.
Topping that.
So let's get into the real meat of the heart of the issue here. So Will's only like 8 years old, so he doesn't know real wrestling.
I'm 27.
Delicia's a woman, so her opinion doesn't matter. Her words, her voice, she has no voice. The best storyline of all time was like the Rock and Stone Cold, then probably Stone Cold and Vince McMahon, then probably like Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, and then maybe Bret Hart, like Shawn Michaels, and then probably how did Mae Young give birth to a hand? That's probably the fifth best storyline in WWE history. So, these people don't know anything about wrestling. I don't know why I keep them on the show. But, and then we get to the Bloodline storyline, which is like, why, like Curtis Axel still not being eliminated for the Royal Rumble is probably up there too. And all that kind of, then you get to the Bloodline all the way at the bottom now because it's complete trash of what happened. So, that's the reality of the matter. Because speaking from an expert, I've been watching wrestling since like 1847. I've been there at the Greco-Roman times when they were wrestling naked, like back in the day of the Olympics. I was there for that, so I've seen every storyline from then till now. So that's the bottom line because I said so. And that's a completely original thought too. All right, let's get to our finishers. We're gonna start with our guest host today. Will, you're gonna finish our low point, your high point, and your overall grade for the pay-per-view.
My low point was the Alexa Bliss Bianca Belair match. I'm gonna unplug you in a minute.
I don't have an answer.
You see?
I'm gonna unplug
She doesn't trust
you.
She doesn't trust you.
But yeah, no, I think that was a low point for me. I think that was the worst match on the card, in my opinion. And I'm sorry, Alexa Bliss and Bianca Belair fans. I'm fans of them both, but I just think their match would have been much better. I gotta say the high point was the crowd's reaction to Sami Zayn turning on the Bloodlines. Like, that pop. I don't think you heard a pop like that since Daniel Bryan WrestleMania 30.
That just goes to show you.
30, but like that end of Rumble winners.
All right, and your overall grade?
I'm a 9 out of 10. Well, no, that's how I did.
Grade. That's a number. It's a rating. What a grade, Will.
Oh no.
School.
Grade. I'm gonna say A-.
Is Joe still around? Does he want to give his low high?
You want to give your again, just like Will, like words have failed me. What was your low point? Hurry,
my low point would have probably been between the pitch black match and the Raw Women's Championship matches, because both of them were rather underwhelming.
High point.
High point, definitely the main event and everything that happened afterwards. Overall grade for the event, I would say about a B.
I mean, my low point is definitely both matches that sandwiched the Rumbles. They both, for the time they gave them and what we got, did not match up. Will not watch them again. 0 stars. Just kidding. 0.5 stars. The high point, I gotta agree with Will. I'm just gonna give it to the second chair shot heard around the world. For man, that Roman and chairs, not a good mix. So I'll give it to that and the Rumble winners, because I do think they were the right winners. And overall grade, I'm going to give it a B minus, as in the namesake. I think of the namesake as well. Royal Rumbles, those two were great. Main event was great. And it would have been an A if we didn't get those two stinkers of matches.
Okay. The low point of the night was probably the entire evening. This is awful. But if I had to give it to one match, it's probably The Rock not showing up. The high point was probably the Logan Paul Ricochet clothesline. That's how bad the evening was. And then overall grade, I'll probably give it a D, because the only thing that's going to get an F probably is Fastlane from those 2 years ago, even though that one Fastlane we had last year or whatever was pretty good. That's the only thing that's going to get the F is the Fastlane from 2 or 3 years ago, whatever that is. This is going to get a D. A D minus. Let's give it a D. No, actually not D minus. Give it a D, because Bray Wyatt actually looked pretty cool. A D. We'll give it a D. But yeah, so that was the Royal Rumble. I wasn't really happy with it. But let's go to Will now. Will, thank you for joining us tonight. You did a wonderful job. And where can we find you? I know it's great to see you back on the camera again, on like YouTube again, because you were reigning supreme on YouTube for a long time, and I know you took a break. We missed you. It's great to see you back. That's not a shoot, as they would say in wrestling.
Oh no, it's not a shoot. And actually, this is the first time you see me here on camera in the show. I've been on here in the past, but you never saw me on camera. But yeah, no, I'm hoping to be back soon. I'm waiting to move because the internet provider in my house is crap. I'm surprised that it didn't crash at all on me during this, but it's probably because I don't have everything else. I have everything else off. That my computer was fine, and the fact that my computer is hardwired to the router it went fine. But as soon as I get a new location I'm moving to, I'll be back to streaming. But otherwise, you can find me on Twitter. But if you ever want to get in touch with me.
Yeah, that's all the description below his Twitter there. And if you ever want more details about Will, check in the sponsor section. He's been a long time sponsor of this channel, so all his information is in the sponsor section. But don't just go to his Twitter right away. It's the first thing you'll see on the description. Alicia, what about you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Delicia Renee. I took a hiatus for the month of January as I tried to refocus my channel, give a little updates to the physical channel itself, and hoping to bring you more content back in February. And pretty much, I'm pretty sure if I timed it right, by the next time we are live, I should have a video either up or going up by that time.
I might be able to guess the topic of that video as well, because you might see somebody else in that video, possibly. But as you saw Will join us for the Royal Rumble, if you guys are a good supporter of the channel, of the AfterMat show, please get in contact with me, and you can join us for your favorite pay-per-view and, recap some of the matches as well. As for me, I am probably not streaming anything yet for a while. I think the next time you'll probably see me streaming video games. It might be Spider-Man. Maybe I'll do a Genshin summon here or there, but Spider-Man might be the next game I actually stream. I don't know if I even want to stream because I know people last time gave me spoilers when I played it, so I don't know because I spread out when I play it, so we'll see what the next game I stream is. But
Wait, people were complaining about spoilers while you were playing the game.
No, they told me spoilers. They told me what was going to happen in the game because because I only stream like 3 days a week, and I only play the game that time while I'm streaming. So they were already done with the game, and they tell me spoilers, like because I'm not up to that point
That's
yet.
just rude.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's why now playing those mainstream big games is tough for me to do it while streaming because they people spoil, which sucks. But the next thing you'll see us on AfterMat is Elimination Chamber, which is going to be on the event itself on February 18th, and you'll catch us on AfterMat February 20th. Please, I'm warning everyone now, including you, Will, do not spoil Elimination Chamber for us because, unfortunately, someone had the audacity, the sheer audacity to plan their baby's first birthday on the night of Elimination Chamber. I won't mention any names, but they might be one of the 3 people here on the screen right now.
That'd be me. I don't have a kid.
their first birthday. So I most likely, as long as everything's going at home, I will be there at the party. So I won't be able to watch the pay-per-view live. So please do not throw any spoilers my way or Delicia's way.
I'm about to say when
she'll.
All right, so I know not to DM the Twitter DM then.
I don't even check the Twitter DM when I have when my friends were here for Royal Rumble. I didn't even open my Twitter DMs.
Yeah, Cal's lucky to have friends who watches wrestling with him. So.
well, I actually had a friend over for the Royal Rumble.
Oh, don't rub it in.
What happens when you have a family, Delisha? That's why you getting married and having a baby and all that. But yeah, so that's the next time you'll see us. Until then, once again, thank you to Will for joining us, and Happy New Year to all of you. Good to see Delisha, Joe, and Rose back on camera as well. Thank you so much. Remember, keep slamming the haters, be the champion of your dreams. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Before you leave, I wanted to ask you one thing. Is it okay if I join for Mania AfterMat?
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left.
I already requested the day off.
And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll and we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands, and we'll grow